Like and subscribe right now, or you're going to have terrible luck for the next week. As climates and circumstances change, species must either evolve or fall victim to any number of threats to their existence. Habitat loss, excessive hunting, and disease are all potential hazards faced by many animals around the world, both past and present. In this video, we will discuss the 10 rarest animals in the world that still exist within the wild. All of these animals are critically endangered and in immediate need of conservation, or they will be lost to the world permanently. Number 10. The Philippine crocodile. This is one of the smaller crocodilians with the largest specimen caught in the world, measuring only about 9 feet in length. They can be found in various parts of the country, mostly in inland wetlands. These reptiles breed once a year, most often during January. Each female would lay up to 30 eggs that would hatch after between 60 to 85 days. Unlike many other crocodilian species. However, both males and females actively take turns guarding the nest. Philippine crocodile eggs have shown evidence of temperature-dependent sex determination, meaning the temperature at which the egg incubates determines the sex of the baby crocodile inside. However, due to rapid habitat loss and hunting, this majestic reptile's numbers have dropped to a critical level. The latest population estimates say that there are around 92 to 137 adult crocodiles left. Certainly, enough to build a healthier population on, but not with the continued destruction of their habitat. Also, on top of that, they're pretty heavily hunted as well. Before moving to the next number, we just want a small favor from you. Like this video and subscribe to our channel. Press the bell icon and get 1 week good luck for you. Try this, it really works. Number 9. The Adax. The Adax is a species of antelope that is known for their white fur and spruce-shaped horns. They once ranged across all of northern Africa, but today the only population is found in the Termite and Tintoma National Nature Reserve in Niger, that is, according to the IUCN. In fact, it's believed that only 3 of these antelopes are left out in the wild. Given the fact that these animals once lived in herds that numbered up to 20 individuals, the 3 left in the wild must be living a pretty lonely existence. Their population was devastated by unregulated hunting, as well as the destruction of their natural habitat due to an increase in oil drilling in those areas. Also, there was a lot of political instability in the region that brought numerous armed humans into the area who indiscriminately hunted animals for food, and that including the Adax. Now the extinction of this species isn't imminent though, as around 2,000 Adaxes live in zoos and ranches all over the world. Still though, the species is critically endangered, and it's going to take a whole lot of effort on our part to make sure that this beautiful antelope doesn't disappear from the face of the earth anytime soon. Number 8. The Sumatran rhinoceros. The smallest of all the rhino species, the Sumatran rhino, also known as the hairy rhino or the Asian two-horned rhino, is one of the most critically endangered large mammals. The only wild population of this animal can now only be found in Indonesia, and it's estimated that there are about 30 mature specimens left. Their numbers have been reduced by over 80 primarily due to poaching and habitat loss. Here's another problem. Their population groups are so fragmented that it's physically impossible for them to join up on their own. Of course, there is a human intervention that can definitely help bring these groups together, but even with that, those groups who only have 2 to 5 members aren't likely to be saved, which is most of them. The largest group still living in the wild only has about 15 members. It really is a shame to see these guys go extinct, especially if you learn of the fact that they've been roaming the planet longer than any other living mammal today. Number 7. The Javan rhino. The Javan rhino is an Indonesian rhino that exists only within one nature preserve on the island of Java. No other herds exist, as the species is extinct in the entirety of its former region. As Omega in this video, there's only about 60 Javan rhinos surviving in a wildlife preserve at the very western tip of the island. There are active efforts being made to save the species, but disease and inbreeding may still eventually cause this rhino's extinction. A few remaining populations of Javan have been spotted over the years, but they are few and far between, and one of these populations was driven to extinction in Vietnam in 2010, leading to few options to introduce new rhinos to the breeding stock. They're extensively hunted for their horns, which are sold as trophies or as ingredients in Asian traditional medicine. Another seemingly unlikely threat comes from the cultivation of a plant called the lane cap. This plant is a highly invasive species and will choke out any other kind of vegetation it comes across, which includes the very vegetation that is the rhino's preferred diet. Number 6. The kakapo. The kakapo, or the Strigops habroptilus, is a nocturnal flightless parrot. For a lifespan of 60 years, it is one of the longest living birds in the world. Yet despite that, they are on the brink of extinction. They're only found in New Zealand, where their population was utterly devastated by the human colonization of the island nation, and also the introduction of cats there as well as kind of contributed to it. In fact, it's believed that this parrot has already extinct from its native range. However, a government-sponsored conservation and relocation effort has resulted in the species now steadily increasing in population size. There are currently about 116 mature adults spread across 3 smaller islands of New Zealand. The region is almost entirely protected and all adults are tagged and monitored by conservationists. Testing of breeding age adults and supplemental feeding have shown significant increases in the rate of birth and overall survival. Honestly, here's hope, and we won't be seeing this amazing flightless parrot disappear within our lifetime. Number 5. The amur leopard. People usually think of leopards in the savannas of Africa. However, in the Russian Far East, a rare subspecies has adapted to life in the temperate forests that make up the northernmost part of the species range. The amur leopard is a resident of the Amur region of Russia and China. They're prized by hunters and poachers for their beautifully spotted coats, so much so that they've been hunted to the brink of extinction. In 2005, there were only around 14 adult amur leopards left in the world. As of writing though, their population has increased to 84 individuals, and sure, that's an achievement, yes. However, that doesn't mean that the possibility of them becoming extinct within the next decade also isn't possible. The establishment of a preserve in the Russian Far East region has enabled the recent recovery of the species, but a lack of prey is going to inhibit a return to their former spread. Weighing in between 75 to 100 pounds, this impressive leopard can run at speeds of 37 miles per hour, leap 19 feet horizontally, and jump 10 feet straight up into the air. Number 4. The saola. Chances are you might not have even heard of this saola, an unusual species of cattle. This is because they're a relatively new discovery, being first found in Vietnam in 1992. We don't really know how many of them are still living in the wild, but what we do know, however, is that despite being related to livestock animals, the saola deals with captivity poorly. In fact, they've only been known to survive for a scant few months in captivity. Because of their rarity, they have been given the name Asian unicorn. These animals tend to avoid humans, but humans are creeping on its strip of habitat through the Annamate mountain range. It's a solitary creature, for the most part, meaning that if it gets cut off from its range, an individual may not have the chance to breed with other saolas. While humans gather more info about the saola, we may actually be watching a species disappear before we even have the chance to understand it. Before we move on, I've got a little challenge for you that'll take me 5 seconds to complete. So here's the deal: you just leave a like on this video, smash that subscribes button and hit the notification bell, and you'll get 15 years of amazing luck. Try it, it really works. Number 3. The red wolf. The red wolf is so rare that it was declared extinct in the wild in the 80s. There were some living in captivity at the time, but populations were declining so rapidly something had to be done. The red wolf is a distinctly different species from the gray wolf. Their historical range includes the southeastern USA from southern Missouri to Texas, across the Gulf Coast states, and into North Carolina. Red wolves are smaller than their gray wolf cousins, averaging 40 to 50 pounds. They prey on small animals such as rabbits, raccoons, squirrels, muskrats, nutria, and small deer. Conserving the red wolf began as early as 1973 with the launch of the Red Wolf Recovery Program. Between 1973 and 1980, the program captured over 400 wild canids with the purpose of breeding the red wolf in captivity. However, among all those captured, only 14 were considered genetic red wolves. Today, though, there is a glimmer of hope for the species. 8 captive-bred wolves were reintroduced back into the wild in 1986 at the Alligator River National Wildlife Refuge in North Carolina. One female named Brendale Hope was the first to reproduce outside captivity, and is actually the mother of most of the red wolves living in that area. Number 2. The Gobi bear. The Gobi bear is the only bear in the world that lives in the Gobi Desert, more specifically in the Mongolian Gobi. As of this writing, there are only around 50 of these amazing animals left in the world. It was first discovered over 75 years ago, but scientists still don't know much about it. Gobi bears are relatively small with brown fur. Their head, belly and legs are noticeably darker and lighter patches in the neck or chest. An adult male bear's weight is about 96 to 138 kilograms. However, females are about 51 to 78. Although the Mongolian government has banned hunting in the Gobi Desert and formed a working group to explore ways of boosting the bear's population. Not to mention creating a new nature reserve to protect their habitat, the future is still looking pretty bleak for these bears. This is because researchers have discovered that the remaining Gobi bear population has very low genetic diversity, which means potential future Gobi bears have a high chance of being born with genetic disorders. Number 1. The vaquita. The vaquita is currently the rarest animal in the world, which is not something to brag about. This porpoise lives only in the extreme northwestern corner of the Gulf of California and Mexico. Back in 1997, a census of their population was done and only 567 individuals were found. Now their numbers are much, much worse, with only 18 of them left. At the rate they're disappearing, the vaquita may go extinct within the decade. Vaquita are often caught and drowned in illness caused by illegal fishing operations in marine protected areas within the Gulf of California. The vaquita has a large dark ring around its eyes and dark patches on its lips that form a thin line from the mouth to the pectoral fins. Its top side is dark gray and its sides are pale gray, and its underside is white with long light gray markings. The newborn vaquita has darker coloration and a wide gray fringe of color that runs from the head to the flukes passing through the dorsal and pectoral fins. Better memorize the description, because the way things are going, you're not going to see one alive anytime soon. Do you know of any other rare animals? Let us know down below in the comments. Also make sure to check out the channel's other amazing videos. As always, thank you all for watching.